Another question from Jeff Whitaker.
Welcome back to West Van, Michael. I have a social justice question that may be of interest to some of the other gray hairs here in the audience, and perhaps it's better answered by Scott. What has the Liberal Party learned from the Nortel affair? Specifically, the regulations around unfunded pension liabilities, the need for those liabilities to be given preference on or reorganization or bankruptcy, and finally the opportunity for those pensions, if the worst happens and those pensions plans have to be wound up, what other alternatives are there than just simply buying annuities at today's very, very low interest rates, i.e. high cost for the annuities?
Well, we fought hard on the floor of the House of Commons, Judy Scrow is our pension critic on this issue, to defend Nortel workers, to defend, in fact, workers from a number of Canadian companies, workers in pulp and paper companies who've lost their jobs when the plants closed down and they found out that the pension that they thought they could depend on simply wasn't there. We've introduced policies to protect stranded pensions. We actually have pension policies with 28 actions that we would take as a government, a white paper on pension policies. The Harper government has done next to nothing to defend the pensions of some of Canada's most vulnerable, people who've just lost their jobs, people who are nearing retirement, thought they could count on a pension, discovered they couldn't. We've got to make sure, whether it's stranded pensions, particularly if you look at the issue for those with disabilities, disability pensions for Nortel workers. The Harper government turned their backs on those people. The broader issue, in terms of the need to help the almost 70% of Canadians in the private sector who don't have a pension plan at all, to give them access to the Canada pension plan and to enable them throughout their working lives to pay into what is one of the best the best managed and the most efficiently managed, the most diversified pension funds anywhere in the world, is an important one. The Harper government has proposed a pooled registered pension plan. That's a little baby step in the right direction, but it's not even close to what we're proposing. We're proposing, in addition to that, the opportunity for Canadians to invest in the Canada pension plan, to expand their investment so that they can have access to the long-term secure returns of a well-managed fund at a low cost of management. That's a good long-term approach. But we would not turn our backs on the Nortel pensioners. We will not turn our backs on any of the pensioners that the Harper government has said has provided absolutely no reassurances or help to. We would help those people. We've been clear on that as a party. We would, as a government, make a real difference and defend those people's interests, because they've been left behind by the Harper government.
Jeff, you're alluding to, it's an important issue, and it's one that goes beyond, I think, the limited stranded pension solution. You're talking about the need to fundamentally reform some legislation. We're talking about reforms to the CCAA, the Canada Creditors Act, or the Bankruptcy and Insolvency Act. We're talking about, a good chunk of this is provincial jurisdiction as well. And the broader issue is, what do we do about unfunded pension liabilities in Canada? There are lots of them out there, in part because of what happened in the marketplace over the last few years, in part because the law does not require these pension regimes to be made whole on a consistent basis. That, in part, is a provincial issue, but it's becoming a serious concern to an awful lot of people. By the way, you've got a mix of gray and no hair, Jeff, so I think I just lost a vote. So, again, we're talking about the need for the Government of Canada to demonstrate some leadership in addressing what isn't an easy issue. It's a complex issue across jurisdictional lines, but it's a fundamental one that touches the heart of our bread and butter, our ability to support ourselves. I used to function in the forest products industry. There are a number of people, not unionized, but at the staff level, who are scared silly because of the state of the industry in British Columbia, and in fact across Canada. The Nortel situation, well, they were down on the list. And so their post-retirement benefits were not protected. Is that the right thing to do? No, it's not. It's wrong. And that's going to require some legislative reform. I hope I'm not creating policy boss on the fly here, but it's an important and complex set of issues that we've got to deal with.